Season 9 has launched and it comes with one of the biggest overhauls of PvP since the game went 5 vs 5. Let's have a look. Hey guys, I'm Deemzies from the Omnic Post, stating that Season 9 is one of the most anticipated seasons, and Overwatch 2 history is a bit of an understatement. While Season 6 was considered the end of early access and the actual release of Overwatch 2, I personally think that Season 9 will have an impact on the future of Overwatch 2 for years to come. Why? Well, keep watching and I'll explain. I think we can all agree that Season 9 is packed with a ton of content. In case you missed it, check out this video I posted earlier today that goes over all the Season 9 content in under 2 minutes. But the two main reasons that I think this season is changing Overwatch forever is one, the reworked competitive mode, a topic that we have discussed at large in the last few weeks. A new rank, new rewards, a reset, and a lot more transparency on how you move up and down the ladder after every single game. And the second, and maybe even more meaningful change, because it actually impacts all game modes, are the balancing changes. We've had big balancing patches before, but this one changes the PvP experience in its core. The way the game actually feels, all the while addressing some issues that have crept up on us in the last few years. But what did it do exactly? Well, starting today, your damage output should feel more consistent and impactful on all heroes. You see, before this season, a fight would be a tug of war. You would either be working to hit your shots in what sometimes felt as an uphill battle, as the enemy supports would outdo all of your work. While in other cases, you would throw your hands in the air because you just saw your team wiped completely because of a freak damage burst. They're countering these scenarios by giving all the heroes more HP. And on top of that, DPS and tank are getting a tuned down version of that support passive that basically gives them a self-heal after being out of combat for 5 seconds. For supports, that has been brought down to 2.5 seconds. This definitely helps with the second scenario, as it lowers the impact of burst damage, but it actually makes the first scenario worse. And that is why they bumped up the size of all projectiles. Well, all projectiles that are under half a meter in size. There are projectiles that are over half a meter in size, like Reinhardt's Fire Strike, for instance. And they're bumping them all up with anything between 0.5 centimeters to 15 centimeters. That's a lot. But that should allow you to hit your shots easier and make your damage output more consistent. On top of that, DPS are getting a new passive that lowers the healing on whoever they're shooting at with 20%. In other words, if you're shooting the enemy tank, the enemy support will have a way harder time keeping them up, which is going to make DPS the true damage roll again. But it is the combination of all these measures in general that make the gameplay more consistent, predictable, manageable, and some people might think that is going to be easier, but everybody is going to be on that same playing field. There's definitely going to be less of these what the f moments where you either feel cheated or just lucky, and on the lower levels it is going to be noticeable and hopefully more rewarding, but on the higher levels, I think these changes are going to hit hard. On these top tiers, it is skill and strategy that should be rewarded the most. This could be very interesting, especially since the bump in projectile size and the bigger health pools also nerfs the impact of healing. I do think in the end we're going to see slightly higher healing numbers depending on how hard that DPS passive cuts into your healing. But as a support player, you're going to have to work a lot harder to keep all your targets up. And in my opinion, it's also going to be a little harder to play tank. In the end, everybody will have to focus on the role again and be a little smarter about it. I'm extremely curious to see how this is going to pan out. It's one of the most exciting things we have seen in Overwatch in a long time. I want to see how creative players are going to get with this new rule set, what kind of opportunities this is going to create. But I do think we'll have to wait it out. We need to give this a few weeks before we start drawing conclusions, like we usually do. And we need to communicate. Eric Keller did the director's take just before the weekend. And while he did not reveal anything too shocking, there was a huge emphasis on inclusion, on feedback from us. Aaron stated that all these changes, both competitive and PvP, are based on our feedback from over the last few months. And any future changes they'll do will also be based on our feedback. They want us to be part of the process. For understandable reasons, there's a lot of skepticism within the community, both with my fellow creators, with my own viewers, and with the community in general, because we've heard all of this before. But the future will tell. We just need to do our part and communicate. And we need to understand that this community is made up out of millions of individuals, and that they cannot please everybody. They're not making a game for you, they're making a game for everybody. We need to accept that no matter what our history is with this game, that it is going to evolve. Don't hold on to the past too long. It's not healthy. Anyways, tell me, are you excited for all these changes? Let me know in the comments. A big thank you to my patrons for their support. You guys are legends. And you too can become part of the Omnic Post family over on patreon.com/theomnicpost. As I said, check out this video and watch I go over all of the content in Season 9 in just 2 minutes. And make sure to check me out on Twitch, twitch.tv/Deemzies. But above all, make sure to subscribe. Alright, take care of yourself, take care of each other. Bye bye.